My name is Esther Oluwakemi Popola. You can call me Light. I'm from Oyo State, Nigeria. I came to the US like 2 years ago. I've been an educator almost all my life. I went to College of Education, Obafemi Awolowo University. I studied education and English language. My master's, I did cross-cultural and international education. So I've been in the field of education for like approximately, let's say, like 10 years. And the reason why this is coming up is I saw this as an opportunity. We saw this as an opportunity to help as many people as possible going through some of our experiences and some of the issues we had, especially in applications. So we saw it like as a means to give back to young minds like us, people back home. So this is a way of giving back to our country. This is a way of giving back to people that are really interested. Like we said on the flyer, people that are committed with a positive mindset. So this is an avenue for us to help as many people as possible, and we will appreciate you sending us the thing, giving us feedbacks from the session. Without any much introduction to do, I think I'll give it to Esther to introduce herself and tell us more about herself. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from this side of the world, and good evening to you if you're on the other side of the world. My name is Esther Oyedele. I'll just do a brief introduction about my background. I finished with my bachelor's degree in geophysics from the Federal University of Technology in Owerri. And then I moved to the USA to pursue and get my master's degree in geology from Bowling Green State University in the state of Ohio, USA. And currently I'm studying for my PhD in geosciences at Virginia Tech in the state of Virginia. I've had opportunity to help like a lot of students to mentor them on traveling to the USA, even to the UK and other parts of the world to pursue graduate study. So it's my pleasure to be here in this meeting to dish out some of the tips that I have to help you come over to the USA, most importantly, or even to pursue graduate study outside your home country, and also to answer some of the questions you've already identified or some of the questions that will pop up in your mind during this meeting. So thank you for joining the meeting and nice to see you all.
Thank you very much, Esther Oyedele. All right, the next speaker, Unzube Ohaliti.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, if you're connecting from a place where you're in the morning. My name is Unzube Ohaliti. You can call me Zubi. Little background, I got my bachelor's from University of Nigeria in mathematics, 2016. And then I moved over to the US. Long story though, but I went through several years of applying and getting denied visas. 2018 was when I had my first admission, and then had the first denial for visa 18, 19, 20, and then 21. The fourth time I was approved, and I came over here to do my master's in applied statistics at Bowling Green State University. Then finished that last year, April, and then now I'm in Georgia, Kennesaw State University, doing my PhD in data science and analytics. Yeah, so that's just the background. During what I'm passionate about teaching, really, and it's one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel, and then also here to answer questions, because on the whole application journey, you have questions that you need to be answered, and sometimes you don't even know the questions to ask. So that's why I love this like avenue, so that you can even get some questions that, okay, I should be asking this one. And then you also get some other ones answered. So yes, happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys, everyone joining in. I can see Patalio from Tanzania. Nice to see you, bro. My brother from another African country. Nice to see everyone from our motherland, Nigeria. Beautiful. All right, before we start off the question, again, we'll appreciate if you can we'll be sending out the recordings to you guys if you really want it. And at the same time, answer some of the pending questions. Like Uzube said, it's not magic that we are here. It's everything is doable. You are able to do it. That's why we're saying you should come with a positive mindset, commitment, and you're willing to learn, like to put in the work. So nobody's going to be spoon-fed. Like all of us have different stories to tell. Me, it was my first trial, and I got it. Esther, was it your first time trying? Yeah. So for Esther too, it was her first time trying. And like Unzube said, irrespective of your number of trials and everything, is the fact that you are consistent, you are persistent, because you have a goal in mind. You have something you want to pursue. It's for the betterment. I had 3 goals in mind when I was applying. Why do I want to come to the US? You need to understand what is the reason, what is the aim, not maybe just jackpot like that. I don't really felt that idea, but then why do you want to come? I had just 3 reasons I wanted to come: for experience, for exposure, and for encounter. I wanted to have that exposure to be in the US, and it has been a wonderful ride. Not so beautiful, but the beautiful part of it is the fact that we can stand, we can be here to give back to people, and we really appreciate that. So at the same time, we also appreciate that you can refer as many people as possible to us. Esther has a YouTube channel. Elizabeth has a YouTube channel. I'll be sending those links to you so that you can be able to connect, read as many content as possible, ask questions. Like someone said, the only question that is stupid is the one that you don't ask. Ask as many questions as possible. We have our Instagram pages, our LinkedIn channel. You can reach out to these people if you want information, and don't just change yourself thinking it's impossible. Like some of us worry on a lot of things, but just take that first step. Even if it's that first step you take, don't just keep yourself on that barrier. Like, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't think I have this, I don't think I have that. The first thing is to do is just take that first step, and before you know it, you are here. All right, thank you. I think we should go into the question and answer session immediately so that we'll keep to time. All right, the first question, can everyone hear me? If you are still together, just wave quickly. First question. I think I'll be throwing this to Esther. How do I best compose an SOP? SOP means statement of purpose. So what's the best way you think someone can compose a statement of purpose?
Okay. So the first thing is to understand what the school wants to see in your statement of purpose. Sometimes when they give you a prompt on what to answer in your statement of purpose, they will give you the requirements, what font size it should be, how many words, how many pages. Make sure you take note of these details they're looking for in your statement of purpose. And statement of purpose, they want you to highlight your background experience, your motivation for coming to graduate school. That is why you want to go pursue a graduate school experience. So you want to start first by telling them a big picture, why you're motivated to even pursue the first degree you had, and what led to you wanting to pursue like a graduate degree, either a master's or a PhD in the next course you have chosen. So if you're going to choose a different course from your undergraduate course, you need to identify the strength you have in pursuing that next degree in your statement of purpose. Your statement of purpose, you also want to identify your background experiences, the courses you've taken that are only related to the next course you're going to take. Don't just, for example, if you're applying for mathematics, you don't need to state in your statement of purpose that you did biology. Do you understand what I mean? So you want to state the courses that you took and the strengths you had in those courses, how those courses have helped you to prepare for the next degree you want to take. What you've learned in that class that would be an added advantage to the next degree program you're going to attend. In your statement of purpose, you also want to highlight if you had a related work experience or previous work experience. You want to highlight your skills so when I'm talking about highlighting your skills here, not what you have already on your CV, not just stating that, oh, I can do this, I have good writing skills, I have this. You want to explain how your writing skills, how your leadership skills, how your professional skills, how your IT skills is going to be at your advantage. It's going to be useful in the graduate school. How you will bring whatever you've learned while you were leading, the people skills, time management, research experience, how you can incorporate that into the department you'll be fitting in or into the lab group you'll be working with. So you want to be able to identify that in your statement of purpose. I would also have this. If you're going in for a PhD, sometimes even if you're going in for masters, I used to advise some of my mentees that try to identify a professor you want to work with. You may necessarily not have like a research topic in mind, but you know in your field of study, there are different research areas. You know which research you want to pursue. Try and talk about that in your statement of purpose. And if you're able to find a faculty member in the department or in the school you want to apply to that has similar interest, say it out in your SOP that you would like to work with this person. That goes a long way in giving you chances of getting funding. I'm sure some people have asked questions about that and we'll come to that later. So I think these are some few steps and some tips you can include when writing your statement of purpose. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Esther. I hope you are jotting and taking down points. Like, one thing I know piques my interest is what she just said. The reason, like, professional experiences. And the fact that most of our SOPs, by the time you read it to yourself, you know, like, what are you reading like to yourself? What's the aim? What's the whole idea of what am I bringing to the table? You're not blank. Nobody is blank. Maybe you've had an experience, you've worked somewhere. Like, your graduate study should be like a follow-up of what you've learned in your undergraduate. And if for any reason you want to divert or you want to do something else, at least have an experience. And which leads me to the part of volunteering. Maybe you should have volunteered in maybe an organization that would lead you to that course of study or something, but at least have like an experience, something to buttress your points for reasons why they should allow you to come and study. Some people, when they write their SOP, it's disjointed such that you don't even know the beginning, you don't know the end. So what is your goal in your study? What's the aim? What's the reason why you want to do a master's? I think that's the major thing, your professional experience. Where do you aim to be? And like she said, if you're researching in a school, which professor do you want to work with? Like, some of them will have some research they're actually working on, something that will actually pique your interest. So you will definitely find something. It's about just nipping the bud in the head, like, what exactly am I looking for? All right, so we don't talk too much. Another question I want to ask to Unzube. Need I remind you, Unzube graduated with the first class from Nigeria, and he also graduated with a distinction here in America. So, good job. So this question will be about does CGPA actually matter in admission to the United States? Now I'm mentioning like about 3 questions together. A lot of people, like, for example, are there institutions where with a CGPA of 2.5 or 4.0, can they apply? So definitely most people are asking about CGPA. So Uzube, what do you see about that?
Okay, I love this question. Does CGPA matter? Yes and no. So what do I mean? Usually the application packet is made up of several things, and all of them come together to make that admission decision. So you have your transcripts and certificates, which we can call the CGPA. You have your SOP, you have recommendation letters, you have your CV, your academic CV, you have your test scores, so probably TOEFL, IELTS, GRE, then you have publications if you've done. Now, it's all these things that come together to give you the admission. I have applied to schools over the course of like the years I was doing my applications for about 4 years, that even with my first class in maths, graduating with the 4.65, I still was not admitted. Yeah, there are several reasons I did that I still was not admitted. Yeah, even though I even wrote the GRE, got like 308 in the GRE, but then there are still schools I was not admitted. So the other things that needs to come to strengthen my application, they were not really there. And so when they compared my application with other people that were applying, those people came out better. So why did I say CGPA matters? it matters in the sense that if you have a solid CGPA, for instance, in the US here, you can do from a bachelor's to a PhD. Sometimes you don't have to do a master's. There are a couple of schools that just admit you from your bachelor's to PhD. You stand a better chance for that if you came out with a first class. I think there might be some people that have a high 2-1 that also get to do that, but you really stand a better chance if you came out with a first class. So now I know of someone who the person came out with the third class, but the person got fully funded PhD admission here in the US. Third class, but fully funded PhD admission. How did that happen? There's an application packet. So the guy looked at his packet and was like, what can I improve here such that it will give me a good standing in front of the admission committee? And so he wrote GRE and got higher than 330. And GRE is over 340. People that get over 330 are people that go to Harvard, honestly speaking. So he got that kind of score. So all the work that he didn't do during the 4 years of being in university, he did it to prepare for that exam. And then got that high score and applied. Then in his SOP, which Esther wonderfully spoke about, he now told his story as to what happened during his undergrad that he came out with the third class. So probably that the financial hardships that he went through did not allow him to focus and give it his best when he was studying. Yes, but it's not an expression of his level of intelligence, which they can clearly see from the GRE. Yeah, so no matter whatever GPA that you came out with, you can still study in the US. You just have to ask yourself some hard questions. Like, okay, 2-1, all right, I might have to do a few things to top it up. Third class, I have to do more work. Should I do a master's to add to it? Do I take GRE, take tests, and score very high in it such that when they see it, they immediately know that this person is intelligent? It's just that something happened. That kind of thing. So yes, that's why I said yes and no.
Can I add to that quickly? Sorry, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, she said yes.
Go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay. So, Uzube, that was like a very, very great response, and I really appreciate that. And I love the example you cited about the person with the low CGPA and how they package themselves in the SOP. That was new to me, and that was really a great one from that person. Just to add to what Uzube said, so aside from the fact, for this in particular goes to if you have a third class, don't be discouraged. One great tip Unzube has shared is writing the GRE and explaining in your statement of purpose what went wrong. Another thing to add to your profile would be for you to consider doing the World Education System Service Evaluation, that is the WES, WES. So when you do that WES, for example, if your school is on a CGPA scale of 5.0 or 7.0 or even 4.0, if you do the WES, it will help your CGPA to come up a little bit, depend on what class or what CGPA grade you have before. Because the way WES works, that's the WES evaluation works, is it takes into account your last 4 semesters in undergraduate. So if you had good grades in that, it helps boost up your CGPA. So in addition to what Nzube has said, considering doing WES evaluation would be another advantage for you to be able to submit a good profile to graduate school for a good decision, admission and also funding. Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome. I never knew about that, like the best thing and all. Wow, that was awesome. I didn't. Then also, one thing I also think is applicable is there are different criteria for each department. Like I know a lot of people might be worried about GRE, IELTS, TOEFL, all these exams, and you're worried about I want to write all these exams, money and all that. So we'll get to the part of financial aspects too. But then one thing I also noticed is you really need to understand, there's a checklist for every program you want to apply to, which is where you guys come in. Like you do your homework, you do your research. Okay, this is my department. What are the criteria? What are the things? You can actually reach out to these schools. They are not aliens. You have their emails. It's there. Reach out to them. This is what I have. Can I apply? Is this what? So, like the IELTS, for some of us in Bowling Green, that we went to Bowling Green University, it was actually paid for us. So, but then when I first applied, they actually insisted that I had to do IELTS. It was later I had to send them a letter that Nigeria is part of the country that lingua franca is English language. So you have to insist. There are some things you have to send emails back and forth. And some, do you want to say something? Okay. You want to say something?
I'm just agreeing with what you said.
Okay. So there are so many back and forth you want to do. You want to find out the criteria, the checklist from that department you are going into. You might not need GRE, so don't get yourself worked up or your head. I think I want to do GRE, I want to do it. Again, CGPA is important, but there are ways to bypass it so that it doesn't reduce your morale or decrease your morale that it's not possible. All things are possible, please. All right, I think we'll go into the financial aspects because that's the cocoa billionaire yeji cash. So money, Esther and Nzube, funding. What are the possibilities of students or people applying getting funding? I'll start with Esther. What are the possibilities that I'm going for a course and I'll get funding? Thank you.
Why do you have to start with me? Nzube has more money. You should start from Nzube. Anyways, I did say that, Nzube, don't mind me. Okay, so I would say possibilities of getting funding, 50-50. Now, this is my reason for saying 50-50. You can get it, you cannot get it. Your chances of getting it, being on the positive 50 aspect of it, is how you package yourself, how you package your application. And then you not getting funding would depend on whatever is missing in your application packet. To get funding, like I would say, you have to be serious and be tedious with your own work, like Esther said. There are a lot of ways to approach how you get funding from a school. Either you're going for a master's or you're going for a PhD. It all depends on how you approach your application. And the first thing I'll say is get ready. Once you know you want to apply for this school, you know, okay, this is the country you want to pursue your graduate degree. Is it in the UK? Is it in the USA? Is it in Germany? Is it Australia? Is it where? Get to know what their funding is like. I will tell you, most schools in the USA gives funding if you submit a good profile application. You hardly see schools that will give you full funding in the UK. I used to tell most of my mentees this. If you want to go to UK, you should resource the funding opportunities because you will need to go with external scholarship from your home country, which we know, especially if you're from Nigeria, that's maybe hard to get. So you're getting partial funding in the UK if you go. There are also other schools like Germany, Australia. If you get good scholarship, external scholarship, you'll be able to get funding for your study to study in this school. And then if you're considering the US, you need to be able to identify what kind of funding is available. What are their requirements for you to get this funding? Is this scholarship you're going to aim for? Is it assistantship, which can be in form of research assistant? It can be in form of teaching assistant. It can even be in form of administrative assistant. So you need to be able to identify what type of funding will be available to you in the school or in the country you want to go study. Then the next thing will be, what are the requirements to get this funding? Like we've been saying, we talked about standardized tests. Some schools have the requirements that you need to write GRE or TOEFL or IELTS to get access to their funding. Some departments will tell you, oh, they only fund 10 students per year. And you know, if they're going to fund 10 students per year, then they look at a whole lot of holistic profile to determine who they will give the funding. So you may want to see that, okay, maybe you have a good CGPA, you write a good SOP, you have a standard academic CV. It may be a research experience that will disqualify you from getting the funding. So you want to package yourself and get research experience. It may be writing any of the standardized tests that will disqualify you from getting the funding. You want to make sure you have that checked on your list so that you're good to go when it comes to funding consideration. It may be contact with supervisors or contact with academic advisors in the department that will give you access to getting funding. Which brings me to the next step of saying, if you're considering getting a research assistant or even a teaching assistant. So teaching assistantship is offered by the department because you get to work for the department and then they pay you for working for them, for teaching undergraduate courses for them. Or either you're going to do a research in a professor's lab and then they pay you from their research funding. So if you're aiming at research assistantship, or if the department have a limited assistantship to give for teaching You may want to reach out to professors, identify that you can work in their lab, just as I stated earlier in your statement of purpose, and try to tick this off. Just make sure all your packages are, in terms of your application documents, are complete when you're applying. Reach out to professors on time. This is the best time for you to start shooting out that email. Start asking them, are they looking for new students in their research lab? These are what you can bring to the table. These are your previous experiences. This is what you can do. This is what you can add to their lab. Start asking them if they have space opening. I'll say something about cold contacts. Send the email as to many professors as possible, even to 2 or 3 professors in the same department with similar research with what you have. Send them an email, ask them if they're taking students. If they are taking students, follow up with them, reach out to them, keep close contacts with them, search for opportunities online, even if it's going to be getting external scholarship from outside. Try to get as much funding as you can. It is possible and you can do it. So make sure you are on the side of the positive 50% that is going to get funding if they apply to school in the US or even school outside the USA. Make sure you identify that opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Esther. Wow.
Okay. I guess I see why you started with Esther first. The detailed response was was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Funding. Please, if you're not speaking, can you mute? Okay. Yes, funding. No country gives funding for grad studies as much as US does in the entire world. There's no other country.
Please say that again. Please say that. No. Please say it again. No, I'm serious. Please say it again. Please say it again. Can we all hear him? Please say it again. Thank you.
There's no country on earth that gives as much funding for grad studies as much as the United States does. Yeah, not even Canada, not even UK, not even Germany, not Finland, whatever European countries. None of them gives as much money as US does. It's just because US has money. Really, it's just because US has money. So, yes, I love the dimension that Esther came from with there's a part that you have to play. Yes, these schools have money, but there's a part that you have to play. And that's very important. So if I'm just going to add to what she said already, because she's giving a very wonderful response, know it that you can be funded. If it's about fully funded, then we might want to have some considerations. So there are not so many master's programs in the US that are fully funded, but there are a lot that are well funded. That's above probably like 75%, above 50%, above 75%. It might not be 100%. Although there are a few master's programs that do that, but there are a lot of PhD programs that are 100% fully funded. Yes, so you still have your own role to play of, number one, putting yourself, in addition to the things that I said, putting yourself in an environment where you hear about opportunities. So you have to get on YouTube, listen to people that talk about it, studying in the US, get on Twitter too as well, because people release more on Twitter than on YouTube. On Twitter as well, on LinkedIn, get into communities where you are hearing more about schools. Because the more you're hearing, the more you can check them out to see, okay, do they have my program? Do I like what they do? Do they have money? Yes, because you could have the best program in the US that would give you everything you want to learn, but then there's no funding. Will you take it? Some questions you have to ask. So you have to surround yourself in that community where you are hearing about schools, because there are about 4,000 colleges and universities in the US. 4,000. There are just so much. In almost different places, you have different universities. Yes, and some of the schools that might not be very popular, they are funding your program very well. But how do you get to hear about them? You have to position yourself to hear about them. You have to put yourself in a position where opportunities can reach you. Yes, put yourself in a position where opportunities can reach you. So I think I gave a very wonderful response. You have to package your stuff well. Like my program, for instance, the PhD program I'm doing, there's like a cap of students that they're admitting. Okay, when I came in last year, they said there were 100 people that applied, and they just chose 6 of us. Now, it's because in comparison, okay, these 6, the application was better than the remaining 94 or so. So you have to position and package your application very well. Look for the things that drives the funding. You can see this on the website. You can also speak to people that are currently in the program. Speak to them, can connect with them on LinkedIn. Yes, there's money for you in the US, but you have to do the work to get the money, to see the money, to enjoy studying with funding and all of that. So that's just what
Oh, thank you so
sorry.
much. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add, because this might just be useful for maybe one person or two people on this call. And this is just an insider tips that I'll always give to my mentees. If you intend, so there are 2 different type of major admission season in the US. That's the spring and the fall. Very few school admit in the summer. So don't even think about that, because to get admission and funding in the summer is a complicated process. However, majority of the schools admit in the fall. And in the fall season, you have multiple opportunities for funding, because that is when department is recruiting. That is when you have a lot of teaching assistantship offer. That is when you have a lot of administrative assistantship offer. That is when you will even see research assistantship offer. However, if you want it fast, like you want to come to the USA in January, that is when the spring admission starts. And this is the application season is starting now. Very few admission or very few funding offer is available in the spring. And you can only get funding in the spring on research assistantship, which means you would have to have reached out to a professor or a faculty member and identify that you want to work with them. And if they're interested and they want you to come to their lab as soon as possible, they'll bring you in as soon as possible, as in the spring. You don't have to wait till the fall. So that is another tips, because my 2 admission, both my master's and my PhD, I got them although my master's was supposed to be a fall admission because I came in as a teaching assistant, but because of COVID, it was delayed and my admission and funding was deferred for me to come start in the spring. But for my PhD admission, because I completed my master's degree in December, and I got a PhD offer with full funding in January. So that's like finishing my master's in December, starting PhD in January. It was through research assistantship. So if you're waiting, if you know you want to travel to the USA to start your study as soon as possible, come this January, you would want to start looking at spring admission funding opportunities. And you will only get that by reaching out to professors to be able to bring you in on research assistants. But if you want to wait till next fall, which is going to be August next year for you to come to the USA, you have a whole lot of time to prepare, do everything you need to do, package yourself well, and then you have more opportunities for funding in terms of research. A professor can still bring you in the fall. The department can bring you in the fall for you to come and teach for them. Any other department in the school, not even related to your department, can bring you in as administrative assistants to work for them in their office in the fall. So you want to identify these 2 seasons of application and funding opportunities in the USA too. Thank you.
Oh God. Please, I don't know. I need to clap. I'm clapping because this is awesome. Even this information I didn't even get. But Esther has actually hit the nail on the head. Some of you need to go back to this video. Meanwhile, we'll be sending a link to give you feedback. Your emails are needed if you want a recording of this video. This video is actually, it's a lot of information is embedded in it. I wish I had this opportunity to even hear some of this information. I didn't know about funding. I didn't know about CGPA. So, in fact, Esther and Uzube, I really appreciate you guys so much. This is like, wow. This is enriched. This is awesome. And like Uzube said, I want it down in capital letter. I have to write it out. Know it that you can be fully funded. America, it's plenty. It's Ogara, the plenty. You can be fully funded. So don't worry about a lot of us worry about how do I want to go about this? But know that you can be fully funded. Don't worry, I will send you a link for feedback. You send your email so that we can be able to send you the video and everything. you can be fully funded. A lot of, like, you really need to go back to this video to listen more. And let me remind you, Esther today has their YouTube channel. You should watch it. So if you're targeting for like Esther said, this is the season for application. If you want to target for next year fall or spring, this is the season. I like, as I'm talking to you now, they've started, applications are started already. So if you want to come in maybe like next year fall or spring, everything is doable. It's possible. So don't restrict yourself. Don't close yourself in that mindset that money, money, money. They've answered you. America is plenty. Oh yeah, so don't worry. All right. Next question. Oh God, that didn't go allow me to ask my next question. The next question I want to ask. Okay, you've you've actually talked about packets and all that. What are the things like I remember one of my professor was telling me that how they pulled like from the pool, there are so many applications from the pool. So how do you make your SOP or your package, like you call it, to stand out? Because it's highly competitive as it is. What are the things you think that will make someone's application to stand out? Like, what are the things that will make someone able? Because some people have applied like 2-3 times and they've given up. What are the things that you think, oh, this should be able to stand out? And mind you, one thing I also noticed that a lot of us, like, we copy SOPs from the internet and you copy and paste. Mind there, will I say sieve word? There's a way they sieve it. It was the professor that actually told me they sieve all those kind of things. They will know originality and all that. So please, Uzbe and Esther, you guys are going to answer the question. What are the things that should make our SOP stand out? What are the package? Let me use that word. The package that can make us stand out. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, brutal honesty. Let me put it that way, brutal honesty, because I believe we know what is good and what isn't good, really. So if you are looking at someone with a tutu certificate, for instance, and then you're asking yourself, would I be admitted over someone that came from India and they finished with a first class in their own country and they've written GRE that he used 6 months to prepare for, and all those kind of things, being compared with this person, will I be given admission over this person? So we have to like be brutally honest with ourselves on, okay, this is what I have. This is what I'm going for. Okay, this is what I have. I came out with this class of degree. I probably have not written this test yet. I have my SOP, I have my CV, I've gotten my transcript. This is what I have. This is what I want. Okay, I want full funding. Is what I have sufficient to get me what I want? Most likely the answer will be no. And so you now have to ask yourself, so what can I change? What can I improve? You really cannot go back in time to go and start correcting your university days, your first degree, to change what it is. So you really won't be able to change that. But then there are other things that you can. So probably you finished with a pass or a third class or something low. You could say, okay, can I do a master's? If I want to do a PhD, if I want to get the PhD admission straight in the US, do I want to do a master's here first? Or exam? Can I write the GRE? Can I write the TOEFL? Or then, can I just learn about the way this whole application thing works? Let me just share a story. There's a lady that reached out to me that my videos had been helping her and all that. And then she was now telling me her story, that she finished with HND and OND. And then she didn't write any test. She didn't write GRE, she didn't write TOEFL, she didn't write all of that. But then she's in the US as we speak. She just came in 2 weeks ago for full funding PhD in physics. I was shocked. But then when she now gave me her story, I understood why. She said, as at the point of application, because she learned the whole process of watching YouTube videos, a lot of videos, people on Twitter too that share their story and tips and all those things. She opened 84 applications. She checked out schools, selected this is the program I want to study, selected it, clicked on start application. She did that for 84 schools. I don't even think in the whole 5 years that I applied, I did up to 84. But this is someone that wanted to do one time, and then she opened 84 applications. But then finally, she applied to 22. And out of the 22 that she applied to, she just paid application fee for 3. So she was asking for waivers. I'm sure she probably would have applied to more than 22 applications if she got more waivers. But then there were just 3 universities that, okay, I want this one, so I'm willing to pay the application fee for it. Yes. So what's the moral here? You have to want it. It's something that has to be top of your mind. Like when you're sleeping, you're waking up, all you're thinking about is, I want to study in the US. That's really where it starts from. You have to want it, because it's that desire that you have that will drive your actions. Okay, what's the best thing I can do now? Write a test. Fine. What's the best thing I can do now? Get another degree. Fine. What's the best thing I can do now? Reach out to professors. Fine. What's the best thing I can do now? Watch a lot of YouTube videos. Okay, I'm going to watch 50 videos on this before I will now even start asking questions. Let me watch 50 videos to learn about the whole thing. So you really have to want it. For different people, different cases apply. So I might not be saying, okay, write test, because there are people that didn't write test and they are fully funded. I wouldn't say, okay, come out with first class if you are still probably in school. There are people that they didn't even go to university and they are fully funded. Yes, so different things apply for different people. You have to really want it. It starts from you really, as in it has to consume you. This is the most important thing that I want to do now. And then you back it up with action by getting knowledge. Yeah, that really is.
Nzube, I would like to add a few things you said. I mean, I don't have experience about if you've had multiple rejections, so I was glad you were able to go first and share your tips and wonderful story. I'll just like to add to this from the point you said, few things dropped in my mind, and I'm not sure if we'll get to the questions that will address that before the end of this meeting that may pop up as a fear in some people's mind. For example, sharing the story of someone that applied to multiple schools. I know a lot of students on this call would also have intentions of doing that. And one thing that will be an obstacle, 2 things will be an obstacle to you if you want to do that. The first is going to be the application fee. And the second is going to be your reference letters. Now, for the application fee, like Nzube said, with the story he shared, that the lady was able to maximize opportunities of application fee waivers, free application. You need to look out for that too. And if you remember what Nzube said at the beginning of the video, that surround yourself in places where there are opportunities flying everywhere. Put yourself in the best room so that when you hear of schools waiving application fees, giving free applications, you can be able to grab the opportunity if you intend to apply to multiple schools. On my YouTube channel, I used to do target series where I share schools in the USA that you can apply to for free, even those of them giving application fee waiver. And this waiver are usually within limited time. So you want to be ready to be able to grab the opportunity when the free application season is open. Also, another thing I will encourage you to do is you can write to school, even if the school is not waiving application officially on their website. You can write to the admission committee, send them an email. This is your challenges. You have this financial burden. Write your story, brother, sister, package yourself. Just be pitiable. Tell them you need this money to be able to submit your application so that you can achieve your dream to study in the USA. Tell them the story. I trust you. Trust me. A lot of people have done this and they've been able to get individual waiver from some schools. Another thing, the second challenge that I identify is with reference letter. Imagine if you have one professor and you're telling him you want to submit application to 84 schools, even to 20 schools. See, they'll just delete your contact because you're not their only student. You're not the only student coming to them for a reference letter. You're not their first job. They have other things they are doing. One thing I would always advise my mentees, have a list of referees. At least, if you know you want to submit more than 3 applications, have at least 5 people you can run to for reference letter. At least 5 of them. It can be, majority of them should be academic references, maybe 1 or 2 just professional references. Because, and you need to tell them ahead of time, I want to apply to this school, I want to apply to this school. These are the 3 schools I want to apply to. You share your reference among different professors that you have from your undergrad, so that they know that, okay, they'll be submitting 4 applications for you, they'll be submitting reference for 5 applications for you. And that way, if lecturer A is not responding on time before your deadline, you have lecturer D to run to for reference letter. And make sure you keep good contacts with people that will give you reference letter. That's one thing I would say. Anyway, that will be a gist for another day. So that may be the challenge you will be facing if you want to intend to submit multiple applications, and that's how you can tackle it. One more thing would be schools with if you have HND or low CGPA and you're looking for schools that accept this too, apart from the opportunities we've discussed about you acing, writing the standardized test, the GRE, the TOEFL, or doing WES evaluation, there are some schools you need to identify, because even with you doing this test, there are some schools you cannot apply to, and there are some schools that you can apply to with your low CGPA or your HND. There is a link Esther might share later for you to be able to have access to some of those schools. So look out for that, check out their requirements, and just do your homework. Thank you.
A lot has been said. Like I said, we've sent a link for the feedback, and if you want the video is free as well. A lot has been said in this video. I can't overemphasize. I wrote it out again. America is fully funded. Like, the funding is plenty. It's doable. Now, if you are worried about application fee, Unzube has said it. A lot has been said. Like, look at on Twitter. There are so many informations that on Twitter, especially have a target. Let me give you a story about myself, how I did it. Like, maybe it's my work. I remember having like again, we talked about mindset, the goal in mind. I pasted on my wall, like I gave myself a deadline. Like, between now and August, I want to see myself in the US. I started pasting my school Bowling Green. I printed out the picture of Bowling Green. I pasted it on my wall. There's some things you will do, like, this is what I want. You know what you want. I pasted the picture. I pasted funding. And like Esther said, follow the lecturers, the professors, bumper to bumper. Don't think they are tired of your email. I sent email self knew that they were tired. There's one last question. I don't know how fast we can answer that question. Again, Uzube, do you want to talk about the community, or let me just answer the last question quickly? Should I ask the question, or you want to talk about that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, the last question quickly because of our time. How do we send cold emails? That one is a problem too. Like, what are the things that some of us, our writing skills, it needs bread and butter to jam well. So what are the ways we can send cold emails? Someone actually asked that question. Like, sending cold emails. What are the tips? What are your tips you think can help people to send those emails?
Okay. I believe I've done a video on,
I've shared Unzube's link, YouTube link. If it's to download link, please watch those links, YouTube link, and Esther's link too. All right.
Okay. But then the main thing is that you want to do your homework. You have to study this person. Everybody wants to feel that they're important. They want to feel like they are important. So if you're going to send a cold email to this particular person, the email has to be tailored for that person. It shouldn't be a general email. So you have to have done your homework of going through the person's publications on Google Scholar. You just have to go to Google Scholar, type in the person's name, look at the person's most recent papers, then see what they've done. You can probably read the abstract. If you have an eye for academic writing, you can read the papers too. Yes, but then read the abstract, get a sense of what their research is about. Their most recent research, don't go and read their first paper, probably what they did during their PhD thesis and dissertation. No, you read like their most recent research, what they are doing now, what they are focusing on. And then there are templates, really. There are templates online. I also believe I've shared on my channel. Templates of how a cold email should be. So you will start with your own story of, this is what I've done in the past. I did this during my bachelor's. If you've done masters, I did it during my masters. And then do you have a space in your lab? I saw that you are doing this and this and that and that based on the research that you did. So they see that, okay, this person actually did their homework. Yes. And you are mentioning names of their publications. Every email that you send to a faculty member in their university email, they see it. Yes, they might not respond to all. It was one of my lecturers that was telling me this, that every email that is sent to a lecturer, they see it. But it's just that they might not respond to all of them. Yeah, they might not respond to all of them. So really just working with templates and fine-tuning it to tell your own story best. You really have to package. The packaging is very important. You really have to package yourself well. Yes.
All right, quickly, Esther, any last words? Yeah.
Okay, I actually don't have last words. I only have
Okay.
last tips, and I'll say that.
Good.
And I think from the questions we got initially before the meeting, those that filled the form for questionnaires, there are some questions that I feel we didn't address during the meeting, and I'll just sum it up and just answer it once. I know there are some people on this call that some of the terms we're saying, some of the processes we're saying, they are all new to you. You don't even know where to start. Okay, fine. You want to study abroad, you don't know where to start from. And I'm just going to run this down through these few steps. The first is identify what degree you want to pursue. A lot of people will come through my YouTube channel, they'll reach out to me on Instagram and they'll tell me I should tell them which school to apply to. No, I'm not going to tell you which school to apply to. I'm not going to tell you which degree to apply to because I'm not going to study for you. So you want to do your own work, know the degree you want to pursue, identify which country you want to go to. Just like Unzube has said, a lot of opportunities in the USA. It's now left for you to decide if you want to tap into the opportunity, come to the USA, or you want to go to another country. Check out the requirements of the program, the degree you want to study. Check out their requirements. What works for Esther's program may not work for Unzube's program, may not work for your program. For the fact that Unzube wrote GRE, you may not necessarily have to write GRE to get fully funded admission into your own program. So you need to be detailed to know what works in your program. Check out the acceptance rate of your department. Most of you will not have good CGPA and you would want to go and be applying to R1 university or R2 university or Ivy League universities. Be careful not to waste your money. So check out the acceptance rate. The school you want to apply to, what is the acceptance rate? Don't go and put all your eggs in one basket and you have a low profile and you're applying to a school that has 30% acceptance rate when there are other schools that have 90-something% acceptance rates. Check out the ranking of the school, the department, or even the advisor you want to pursue. The ranking of the school determines also what you want with respect to your goal for the research you want to do. Be detailed about the application requirements. Some schools have different application requirements, and then the department will have additional application requirements. The school may not require you to write GRE, but that department that you want to apply to will ask for GRE requirements. So be sure to identify if your department has an additional requirement other than what is stated on the school's website. You want to also choose your advisor ahead of time, who you want to work with, whose research interest aligns with yours. Check out the cost of attendance for that school and what percentage of funding or scholarship did they offer. You also want to get your international passport. Once you know that you want to start going through all this process, start applying for your passport. I don't know how long it takes for you to get your international passport in your own country, but if it's going to take long, this is the best time for you to get your international passport now. I've had a lot of students that come to meet me that, they want to study in the USA. Do they need the international passport? Come on, you're not studying in Nigeria. Of course, you need the international passport. Cold contacts, like Muzube has said, this is the time to start. Go to his YouTube channel, check out the resources he has on cold contacts templates, look on Google, check on other YouTube channels, other Instagram, LinkedIn, People have templates for how to write a good code contact to professors. Make use of that. Package your statement of purpose. Your academic CV is not just the kind of CV you submit to your recruiter in Nigeria. Academic CV is different from your job application CV. You need to learn how to write a good academic CV, how to make your CV stand out. If you need to write standardized tests, start preparing for it. Know when to write the test, because there are some applications that close early and they give very good funding. So you need to be able to plan ahead of time that you need to write your test way ahead of time so that you have your results for the standardized test to be able to submit for your application. And also your academic references that, just like as I've stated earlier, start reaching out to them. Let them know these are your intentions. These are the number of applications you want to submit, and follow up with them. Let me give you these tips. If you need to be nice to them financially, be nice to them to get what you want, because they will take time to do all those things. If it is small recharge card that you can send to them to appreciate them, these are what have worked for me that I'm sharing with you as a tips. If you need to be nice to your recommender so that they can, anytime they see your request to submit reference letter, they will easily attend to you. You know how it works in your country to get what you want from people. Just do it the right way and pray. If you are religious, do the needful. I will always say that if you are religious, this is a great step you are about to take. If you are religious, you would understand what I mean for you to do the needful. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Unzube has already shared list of schools. Esther mentioned a list of R1, R2. We are actually out of time. Unzube, any last tips or last words quickly?
Okay. Someone asked a question in the chat. That's why I dropped the list of schools. The person said, how do I research schools that have my courses with full funding? So that's the file, the PDF I sent has a list of like R1 and R2 universities in the US. This is where the work begins. So you go through them one after the other, and then you now see, you go through one after the other, and then you check for your program in those schools and see if they have funding or they don't. Yes.
All right. Do you want to say something? Yeah.
Okay. Last words. Really, as I said before, there are so many opportunities here in the US. Yes, there are so many.
Can you repeat that again, please? Please, thank you. Say it again.
There are so many opportunities here in the US. Yes, the US is a land. We've heard the US is a land of opportunities. Is not some myth. It's true. A lot of things happen here. Yes, so there are many schools here looking for people to give money to, honestly speaking. But you have to find them. Yeah, it's just like if you're applying for a job, the job might not find you. You're the one that will have to put in your application, submit your resume, and all those things. So you have to find them. And then when they see that, oh, this person is good for us, so they will give you the money and bring you over. So don't give up. Don't give up. No matter how long it takes. Yes, don't give up. Let this be your major drive. If you want it, you will be here in just a couple of months. Yeah. You'll be here. All right.
Thank you so much, Esther Oyedele. Thank you to Bill Halete. Thank you to everyone that has joined. I've sent a link. I've sent their YouTube link. You can check through the chat. I've sent a link for feedback if you want the recording of this Zoom video, so that you can share to as many friends as possible. And one more thing, we'll be coming up with the community, right? Like, we'll be coming up with the community, so you need to send us your email so that we'll be able to reach out to you if you are interested in joining this community. Now is the time to apply, especially if you want to come in spring, if you want to come in next fall. Now is the time to apply. And if there's one last thought I want to say, it is possible. The money is plenty. It is possible. It is doable. And like Esther said, if you are religious, pray, because you're about to break through. You're about to break that barrier. Like, you know what it means, leaving the shores of Nigeria, coming here? It is possible. The money is plenty. They are waiting for you. They are looking for who to dash the money. And as Unzube said, you have to look for it. It's not the job looking for you. All right. Thank you to everyone that has joined, the speakers, Esther and Unzube. I really appreciate your time. These people are actually students, and they are wonderful ones, and they are busy, very, very busy. But they've taken this time. It's a sacrifice because we want to give back. We are seeing these opportunities, and want to give back to as many people as possible. Again, fill in the form, provide us with your information so that you can, at least by this time next year, you'll be here too in the USA. It's possible. All right, with this
I want to say something.
being said, all right.
I want to say something, just a little, just to reiterate a little what you've already said, actually.
All right.
So there's a link, Google form in the chat. Please open it up, fill it. Those are the people that will be able to get the recording to this session. Is when you fill it, you can get the recording, because that's when we'll have your emails. And then, as she said, we are having a community. We're going to start a community that would even go in depth, because now it's just 1 hour and so many questions to answer. So they will be able to answer your questions very well, even review statement of purpose, all those kind of things, to present you with the things you need, really. Yes, so we'll give you everything you need. You now have to do the work to get yourself over here and all of that. So please fill in the form, give us your details, and thank you for joining the meeting.
All right, thank you. So no excuse. Money is not the problem. Opportunity. All right, see you guys in our next session. Possibly share this to your friends, your loved ones, as many as possible. Let all of us come and take over. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.